even spend less time on the road than if you left earlier, right? Depending on when traffic is worse. So let's say I leave from work, a little bit after 8, I'll hit a lot of traffic. I leave for work later, after 9, I'll hit less traffic because everybody else is already at work, right? So that part of the concept is very interesting. But can you actually leave later and get to work earlier? Because that would be unusual, right? The person who gets started first, right, would get there first. Even if traffic is slower, they're still moving along, right? There's no one could come in later and get there earlier, right? I don't know the answer to that question. I presume there's actually different lanes in the road, and potentially you could, right, if you're in the right lane. I think the bigger, interesting concept is philosophically that principle. Does that apply? So I was watching a YouTube episode of the tortoise and the hare race, and everybody knows the tortoise and the hare story. There's a slow turtle that plows along, but it's slow and steady, and the hare is really fast, but it gets distracted and doesn't actually bother doing very much. And their setup was they had a rabbit and they had a turtle, and it wasn't a long distance thing. It was probably a few meters. And the rabbit just didn't really bother going anywhere, even at the end. The story, at least, the rabbit realizes, hey, I better start going. And then you have a turtle who just steadily plods along. And the moral of the story is slow and steady wins the race. But I think in life, is it sometimes true that you start later and you just go faster and you actually win? So if you think about it, most things in life are defined by a certain time period, right? So you go to university for 4 years, right? We call it 4-year university as opposed to 2-year, which is like community college. Medical school is basically 4 years, sometimes 5. A lot of these things are just regimented. Like it's just protocolized. Like it's always this amount of time. I mean, there's a few shortcuts. Like there's combined college, medical school programs where you do like 7 years instead of 4 plus 4, which is 8. But basically, it's just you have to do it. It's not like in college where you can finish early if you just finish all your courses. And then there's things like college, right? Some people graduate early, some people graduate early from high school, some people skip high school. There's definitely some people who are quote-unquote ahead, if you will. But after you get past all these schools, there is no duration, right? Like, oh, well, how long to become partner at a law firm? Usually, blah, blah, blah. But it's all a wide range. There's nobody saying it has to be that year. It has to be this year, right? There's no thing that's like, oh, if you're not over 18, you can't drive. It doesn't work that way in real life. There are some people who are very young who are managing directors. They got there faster than other people. Was it because they skipped university? Depending on where you are, I'm guessing no. But it's just that you can get there faster, right? You can start later and get there faster in the real life. Because most things aren't based on time. Becoming CEO, right? Most people work their way up to the management suite. But if it's your own company, you could be CEO at 25, right? You started up, you're the boss. Is there a rule? But if you look at truly successful people, usually they get there faster, but they also start earlier. I was reading about Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, talking about what you do when you're a kid. They gotta start on these things when they're teens. Bill Gates loved programming. He did it a lot. Warren Buffett did investments. He was filing quite a tax return by 13. Invested at 11 or something. So, yeah. I mean, Tiger Woods was hitting golf balls on national TV at the time he was 3, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a component of both. But I think most of us aren't going to be super successful. Most of us aren't extraordinarily talented. I think a lot of people still forget this idea that you can get there faster. And I think part of it, the issue I would say, is when you're going through school, it doesn't matter how well you do. You could be 4.0. Most of us still finish high school in 4 years. So what's the point of doing even more? I'm going to improve your, application of college or whatever. Say college. What's the point of doing even more then? Just personal interest, right? I think that's one of the issues, right? Our educational system doesn't encourage us to do more than is what required. There's no reward. Let's say you were in high school and took all the classes. What are you going to do now, right? If you really wanted to finish early, you could apply to college after your 3rd year. I mean, as in apply before your 3rd year, during your 3rd year, so you could go after your 3rd year. College is a little bit more lenient to letting people finish early. But again, what's the motivation, right? For a company, right, it's different. You do really well, you hit all your metrics, you exceed them. The boss is like, hey, there's no need to wait till the end of the year to give you that raise, that promotion. Let's just do it now. See, the problem is school years run on school time, right? It's not whether or not you learn the material. You can't go in 1 month after the class starts and says, Professor, I think I'm done. Let's just take the final now. They'd be like, what are you talking about, right? I mean, it used to be in the olden days that people would skip classes by just taking a final and passing it. But I think it's uncommon now. They feel a need that you got to go through the class, whatever that means, right? It's sort of like at work, the concept of keeping that seat warm. Why? If you're there to do a job, why don't you just finish your job and get out? What's the difference? In fact, it's probably better for the company if you finish your work quicker and get out. Do your own thing, right? Because most companies are stupid and people wait a week to get their laptop set up anyways. You can't do any work in the interim. But I feel that's a very interesting concept. You can start later and finish sooner in real life. We all know it, right? From simple things like some people are just better, right? Like, can you clean a hotel room in 15 minutes? Well, there are a lot of people out there who can, right? They come to work later than you and finish earlier than you, right? And did hotel rooms more than you and a better job. We all know that there's just things people are faster at, better at. And I feel like we should change our education system to reward that, right? Like, why is it that everybody takes 8 years to go through primary school? How does that make sense when in life everybody takes a different amount of time? Some people need to go to driving school for years on end to learn to drive. Some people really don't need to go to driving school at all. It's the same with most things in life, right? It's not the same amount of time, not the same duration for everything. But yeah, somehow it is for the most important thing in life, education. Everybody requires the same progress. Counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.